This is the Harry Loomis Show. Welcome back to the Harry Loomis Show. Today is Tuesday, July 2nd, and if you are a fan of the St. Louis Blues, well, the offseason started today. The Blues, after not making any moves other than re-signing Kasperi Kapanen to a one-year deal yesterday, they have made two trades today. Yes, not signings, but trades. First one with the Dallas Stars. Radek Faksa is coming on board, and the Blues are going to eat all of that $3.25 million contract for the next season in exchange just for future considerations. The other one with the Ottawa Senators. A lot of players that could be traded from the Ottawa Senators. Brady Tkachuk, obviously fans talk about. Shane Pinto has just requested a trade, but the Blues are going to get Mathieu Joseph, and Ottawa's throwing a sweetener into the deal, a third-round pick for the Blues to shed that contract, also in exchange for future considerations. So the Blues taking on $3.25 million with Faksa, $2.95 for Joseph for the next 2 years, and also getting a third-round pick with no trades, no players, no picks going back to either team. These are low-risk, high-reward moves for Doug Armstrong, but it does leave the team with some questions now with the forward group. But first off, we should probably talk about what kind of players we are getting with Radek Faksa and Mathieu Joseph. And at JFreshHockey has provided some good player cards on Twitter to kind of get to learn these players. I will put these up on the screen now. Mathieu Joseph, a defense first, middle six winger, and penalty killer. You can see his stats here. Coming from an Ottawa team that had a frustrating season, once again fell short of expectations. Not entirely Joseph's fault. 72 games, he's scored 11 goals, 24 assists, and 35 points, playing just over 16 minutes per night. As for Faksa, Faksa has been a Dallas Star his whole career since he was drafted in the 2012 draft, 13th overall, so some pedigree there. And he's had an up-and-down career with the Stars, 638 games played, 89 goals, 111 assists for an even 200 points, like mentioned. Faksa is pretty much all defense at this point. You can see his player card right now. But he did peak at 17 goals and 33 points. 17 goals coming in the 17-18 season. Put up 33 points in both the 16-17 and 17-18 season. This past season, 74 games played, 7 goals, 12 assists for 9 points. Scored a goal in the playoffs. It was a game-winning goal against Vegas as well, so big-time goal for Faksa. And Mathieu Joseph, he hasn't been nominated for any awards, hasn't gotten any votes in his career, but Faksa has been voted for the Selke 4 times, 7th in 2017-18, 24th 18-19, 2021 was 21st, and he was 19th a season before last in the 22-23 season. So obviously the big thing for the Blues has been trying to overhaul the defense. Weren't able to last year after trying to trade Torrey Krug. That didn't end up happening with the Philadelphia Flyers. Obviously ended up getting Kevin Hayes. That deal didn't really work out, but it is what it is. So the next best thing for the Blues to do is to trade for defensive-minded forwards in Joseph, in Faksa, to try to minimize that deficit that the Blues have, because they don't have strong enough defensive defensemen. You don't have those Jay Bouwmeesters. Marco Scandella didn't really fill that role, and now he's gone. So I like these moves for the Blues. Faksa seems like he's going to be a trade deadline piece just by how I'm gauging this. He's got 1 year left on his contract. Not a great deal, but for a half season, if you're a team trying to make a cup run, he could be a really solid bottom six option and penalty killer. Teams are always going to need that in the playoffs. For Joseph, he does seem like he fits the St. Louis Blues style. He definitely would have fit a Craig Berube style of coaching, but I think he should do well here. Both of these guys should slide into the bottom six, which is what we need to get into with the Blues forwards. There is a bit of a logjam here. The Blues currently have 13 forwards signed at $46,710,833 against the cap, and that includes guys like Alex Texier, who just got signed. That includes Joseph. That includes Faksa. That includes Kapanen, who just re-signed 1 year, $1 million. It also includes a guy like Jake Neighbors, who's in the final year of his entry-level contract after a great year in 23-24. That does not, however, include guys like Zachary Bolduc, who established himself in the Blues lineup late last season, looks to be an everyday player this year. It doesn't include a guy like Zach Dean, who got into the lineup last year and is going to work to become an everyday player. It does not include a guy like Dalibor Dvorsky, who got drafted 10th overall in 2023, looks to be a potential future star for the Blues. When is he going to be able to join the team full time? Looking at the situation right now, simply put, you've got too many guys. You can't play everyone. It seems like unless there's another move coming, Armstrong is trying to keep guys like Dvorsky, like Dean, from getting extra time in the NHL. He wants them to continue to get top 6 minutes in the AHL, really continue to hone their game. And when the time comes, when they have an opening, I don't think it makes sense to have guys, especially like Dvorsky, who plays the top 6 style, is really flashy, really skillful. I don't think it makes sense to have him play, fourth line minutes, play that kind of style in the NHL. That just seems like you're going to stun his development like that. Let him play his game his way, and when the time comes, find a spot for him. But it does seem like the Blues are going to have to trade somebody. You have 13, 14 should be everyday players for you. And it seems like the Blues are trying to sign Pavel Buchnevich, who would obviously be the big piece. He's got 1 year left at $5.8 million. He's probably looking to get around $8 million, be right around that $8.125 million range with Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou. Obviously, back during the regular season, there were talks of possibly trading Jordan Kyrou. That seems to be smoke and mirrors. He doesn't appear to be going anywhere. It's not even 3 minutes after finishing that recording, the Blues and Jeremy Rutherford just announced that Pavel Buchnevich has been extended 6 years, $8 million against the cap. So like I mentioned, he's right up there with Jordan Kyrou, with Robert Thomas. So I guess that kind of limits the options. He's got a full no trade clause effective immediately in this deal. That obviously throws a wrench into things, whatever the Blues are planning to do with this logjam and at forward, like I mentioned. But we'll see what happens. I'm happy with the Buchnevich signing. He seems like he wants to be here. Obviously he does if he signed a 6-year deal. One less thing to worry about this upcoming season. I think the guy most likely to be traded if Armstrong does make a move, which it seems like he has to, is going to be Brandon Saad. Saad has 2 years left at $4.5 million. Obviously, not a great deal, but not a terrible one either. He scored 26 goals, 16 assists this past season for 42 points in a healthy 82 games, which is a big deal. Games played matters. If you're paying a guy $4.5 million, you need him to play just about every game, and Saad played every game this year. And that seems to be the kind of guy he is right now. He's a shoot-first guy, but he can provide a little bit of playmaking. He's going to play just about every game. He's going to be right around a little bit over a half point per game. There are teams in a cup window that could use an asset like that. Obviously, it might include the Blues having to retain a little bit of salary, which I'm not sure they'd want to do for 2 full years. It might have to be a deal where you're willing to sacrifice a little bit. But we can't act like Brandon Saad's also, a Kevin Hayes, who his contract simply blew up in the face. It just did not work out. Saad has been a positive player for the Blues. He's been a good player. He's a guy I like having on my team. He's a great middle 6 winger. He seems like an outstanding guy. I haven't heard anyone say a bad thing about him. He seems like he's good in the room. Every time you hear him talk, he's got good things to say. He is a positive contribution to any team, especially a potential cup contender. So I think you could get a pretty decent return for Saad if the price is right. Obviously, most teams that are in the cup contention, they don't always have $4.5 million to give out to what would probably be a third-line winger, but you have to keep looking if you are the Blues. But I think today is a pretty promising day for St. Louis. It still leaves the team with a lot of questions, but I think the team did get better today. Obviously, there was no way of it getting worse. You didn't give up anything. You only added, which is something you can take advantage of when you have as much cap space as you do. The Blues, even after these trades, do still have $9 million in cap space, according to Cap Friendly. Man, I'm going to miss that when it's gone. But I think the Blues are playing this offseason for the most part pretty well. Doug Armstrong, he's more of a trading guy. He's more of a guy that will make trades in the offseason than a guy that will go after the big fish in free agency. Obviously he's made some moves. He's signed guys like Tyler Bozak, like Paul Stastny, like Torrey Krug, two pretty big deals in free agency. But for the most part, you think Pavel Buchnevich was a trade. Braden Shen was a trade. Ryan O'Reilly was a trade. Probably Justin Falk was a trade as well. This is Army's bread and butter, taking guys that are undervalued and buying low on them and potentially either selling high, or in the case of Braden Shen, he turns into your captain after you gave up a first-round pick in Yuri Laterra. This is why I haven't completely lost faith in Doug Armstrong. I know a lot of fans are out. They're still mad about the Pietrangelo situation. They're mad that Berube's gone. This team isn't a playoff team right now. They're not going to be a playoff team this year. I think we can accept that. But he's still making moves to continue to try to help this team. This is a good move for the Blues. Both of these moves are good moves. And I think they're smart not to waste money in free agency, because some of the signings, some of the players that the Blues were linked to, Sean Monahan, 5 years, 5.5, would not have been a good deal for the Blues. Chandler Stevenson, 7 years, over $6 million per year, would not have been a good move for the Blues. Jonathan Drouin, his contract looks great in Colorado, but he's playing with Nathan MacKinnon. They have absolutely fantastic chemistry. Drouin didn't work in Tampa. Drouin didn't work in Montreal. I don't mind not getting that player. I think if the Blues are going to try to build this team, try to make it better, make little tweaks to help it, this is the way to do it. I have no problem with how the Blues are handling this offseason so far. Obviously, today's only July 2nd, but I think today is a positive day if you are a fan of the St. Louis Blues. I'm going to wrap it up there. What do you guys think of these deals? What do you think the Blues do next? Do you think they trade a player like Saad? Do you think they work something out with Buchnevich, make a decision on him? What can they do to overhaul the defense? Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.